In the last video I sort of rambled on like a chimpanzee with logorrhea, and one thing I did think I did pretty well though was design the input form, and it occurred to me that it might be of interest to especially beginning programmers of how you design a form that looks that symmetrical and with all the text boxes and labels lined up and things like that. So I thought I'd demonstrate some general techniques I use. Probably a lot of this will be old news for some of you, but I think especially beginning programmers it'll be pretty new. Well, this is the form I'm talking about, and it's actually a screen capture of the form I did with Alt Print Screen and then resized with Photoshop. Or I didn't resize it, but I got rid of the excess junk around it that I used a different utility at first. Fortunately, I can't get Photoshop to run on this computer, the old version. So the first thing we see is there's like 3 labels and 3 text boxes. So I'll try putting those on first, and I'll try sizing it to look about the right size for this. You drag the rectangles in the corners to resize, and then I get a label in order to put the 3 labels on, and I can just double click and put 3 labels on. Drag these over, and the first thing I want to do is make this a larger font. So if I go over to the font and change it to, I don't know, probably 14 would be good, a lot more readable, and then change the text to read abbreviation. And put a colon because we're going to have a text box after it. You see we have the abbreviation label now. And actually what I should do is I should just delete these. I'll select them and press delete. And then this one's selected, and I'll right click and press copy, and then do paste, and then another paste. Because once you have a label that looks right, what you want to do, it has the right font and everything, what you want to do is just copy it and save yourself some work. So this one I'm pretty sure said short name. With a colon. And then this one said fully qualified directory name. And the first thing we want with these is we want them to be the same distance apart. So this is too far, so I can move it up either by selecting it with the mouse and moving it, or I can press the up arrow to move it. So I'll move it to about where I want it. And if we select this and look at the location, it's 156 and 139. 139 is the Y, which is what we're interested in right now. So maybe I'll move this down one press of the down arrow. So it's now oh, that's funny. Oh, this one was 156, 139, the top one. So maybe I'll move that one down one, get it an even number. So this is 156, 140, and this one is 156, 186, and maybe, I don't know, 20 or 30. I guess 20 would be better. So why don't we move this one up about 6 presses of the up arrow. And so they're exactly 20 apart. And then move this up so it's closer. and this one's now 180, and this one's 228. So maybe I'll move it up a little more with the mouse. Actually, I hit it right on 220 moving up with the mouse. I don't have to use the up and down arrows for more precision. And then the next thing we want is we want these to line up on the right, because we want them all to be right aligned and all the text boxes to be left aligned, so they look closer to what they're describing. So this one is selected, so it'll be the primary, and then I hold down the control key and select this guy and this guy, and then I go up to the toolbar at the top and select the one that says align right, and it sort of shows a bar with them right aligned, so it's, you can see what it means, and you click that and now they're all right aligned. And now I want 3 text boxes to go with these 3 labels. So I go over and find text box, and we can just drag a text box over and sort of line this up so it looks right. And you notice when it's lined up, there's a blue line underneath, and you can select the text box and select the font, since we want this font to be the same as the labels, 14. So now we have to realign because it's a different size, and I guess that's good to have it lined up with the bottom like that. And then this is very small because it's the abbreviation one, so we want to make it smaller, and then we can just copy and paste the way we did before, so we'll get the same font size. Copy and then paste, and align this guy up, and you see it also aligns with the box. You can see the blue line showing it's aligned vertically with the box. And then do the same thing again, paste and align these guys up, and then this one's about the right size, but this one needs to be somewhat longer. And then this one needs to be quite a bit longer. We'll take it all the way practically to the edge. And now it seems like these are all too far over to the right, so we can select this one and hold down Control and select everything else. And once everything's selected, we can go up and click on the center horizontally, which will center it on the screen. And you see it moved over and looks a lot nicer. So if we look at what else we had on this form, we had a larger title that says Archive Level of Abstraction Names. So we drag a label over and then change the text, if I still remember it, to be Archive Level of Abstraction Names. And we want to make this font significantly bigger because it's sort of like a main title. So everybody else is 14. So let's make this guy, I don't know, maybe 18. And looks more like a title. In fact, I make that even bigger. I think make it about 24. Point is, for those of you who don't know, is 1/72 of an inch, and it's talking about the height. So if I made this 72 points, it'd actually be an inch high. Now I want to move this over because I had it more to the left. And then I had a very small label that said something like the number of elements. number and list. So we want to put that and then a read-only field that shows the count of the number of list items we put in. Oh, pressed the wrong one. So we go down to the text and say number and list. And we'll probably, well, maybe make that slightly bigger. But it looks more impressive if you have things that are of different importance that are different sizes. You know, it makes it look more professional. Let's say make this a 10. And then drag over a text box. And make that about a 10 font too. And make it quite a bit smaller because we're not going to have that big a number. I doubt we'll ever reach 10, in fact. So I'll select that and move it up with the arrow so it's more aligned. And then we had two buttons, update, list, and display. So select a button and drag it over and give it a text of update list. And of course we'd also be giving this a name like BTN update list. And we'd be giving the text boxes names too so we can reference them in the code. But it's not really important for this since I'm really talking about designing a form. And make this font, I'd say even slightly bigger than the text boxes, but not as big as the main title, so maybe a 16. And then drag the button so we can actually see the text. And then once again we can do our old trick of doing a copy and a paste. So we get things like the font information and possibly other information copied over. And do a paste. Drag these over and line up the text. And say the second one I believe was display. So go down and change this to display. And I could resize that so it fits more, but in a way it's nice to have buttons that are the same size. They look kind of good. And then that one's selected, so I select this one too with Control and a left mouse click. And then we can go up and do our center horizontally again. So that'll center it more. And then we ought to select the whole form and bring it up more so there's not so much space at the bottom. And I think that pretty much does it. We have another fairly nice looking form, you know. I mean it won't win any art awards or anything, but I think it looks professional enough that people using it will be impressed that you know what you're doing. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a lot, and don't forget to subscribe.